Hey, welcome to my Wednesday live development stream. I'll be working on phpstan-drupal today. It's been 2 weeks off. I took a vacation, and then there's DrupalCon last week. But I'm excited to be back and working on phpstan again. Next week, I'll be visiting Drupal Rector and working on Drupal Rector. But I wanted to finish up some fun feature dev and maybe a few bugs today. When I last left off, I had to really think. It was adding a Drush command for configuring PHP Storm or PHP Stan, which we have going on in this command file. And I just need to go back through. So this to do entity mapping, that's taken care of. Evaluate what to do for the dumping of the neon file, which was called out that, oh man, this, 3 weeks ago. 21 days. That I don't need to hope the YAML encoding matches. We can just output the file. So the way I'm going to do that is reviewing the net. It's not a dependency here. Going inside phpstan, I think that's how I had done it before, is reviewing the var. And it's not that complicated, just my brain wasn't there last week or 2 weeks ago. So nuts, and then neon. You just want to go to the encoder. And I'm pretty sure this is what's needed. So value to node or encode. So this value to node. And we have no objects here. It is purely just is object or is array, or if it's a string. So let's go ahead and write a method for this. So I'm going to say private function create neon, and we get the array of config, which returns a string. And all right, so create neon, and let's bop this over. So value to node val, that's if. So what we do is my brain array to nodes. This value instance of block array node, this value indentation equals this indentation. Value, a value instance of block array node, counter. So value to node k. I'm just reading again really quick. Key. All right. So let's just give it a try. So we're gonna do we're gonna be getting an array off the bat. This made so much more sense when I was first sitting down and thinking about it. And then so we do array nodes, okay. I'm gonna open the actual example output really quick. So let's see this. So for each, we have output equals string, return output, and for each, can't remember how I was testing this either, but I think I need to, this does Drupal entity type manager, get definitions. I think I can cheat this somehow, or just cheat it the other way. Public static function I'm just going to do this so that way I can write a test to just test it out. So for each config key and value, we'll do just how does it know to do this value indentation equals. So I always wonder, like in here, this node items. Okay, it knows to go traverse through that. So we do output equals. So it'd be key colon and that was PHP EOL, and then output equals this or self create neon value. Actually, not just that. So we got to first do so if value or if is array value output is key value or node to string array item node. That's not it. To string. Yes. Bracket inline to string. Node. Literal node. So it does return JSON encode value. All right. So let's just do that. So space JSON encode value and else output equals key EOL. And how was I testing this? One sec. Let me see if I remember. I don't. So let's go ahead and create a test for this. So test source. Let's make a new file Drush commands phpstan-drupal Drush commands test.php. Hopefully I can do this. Clear. Man, my computer's running slow. I gave it a reboot, but apparently it's just not having it today. Namespace is test drush commands. No. New directory. This didn't get named right. There we go. Final class extends test case. So let's do public function test, create neon void. We'll start with this config equals. Let's start with this base configuration. So config equals parameters. These are the parameters. I'll do self so equals, do student empty string for now, and phpstan commands config. So a lot of times I'll do this just to get running and see what works or not. So if we run this test, we're going to see the output. And I feel like we're just only going to see parameters. Yep, parameters, new line. Yeah, it's not most. So like what I need to also pass is int indent equals 0. Maybe not, but I'm gonna keep that there for right now. Let's see. Output equals. Let's do. Let's see. Test this out too. So if I do PHP A print string pad actually st. Oh. Foo. Oop. So with string pad 0, it still added it. Let's get to the right. Pad a string a certain length with another. The value length is negative, less than or equal to. No padding takes place. Oh, wait, that's not. I want like string repeat. That's what I want. All right, there we go. So indent equals string repeat. Indent. So we can say indent dot. Actually, we can put it inside of here. That should still work. And then we can go and do output. We can get recursive then and say this or self create neon value indent +1. Oh, that's not no, not indent. Shoot. I don't know. We'll call it spacing. Let's play it and we'll see what happens. So close actually after level 2 because we do not do output equals PHP EOL. See if that fixes it. Not quite, but why not? Oh, let's do it this way. We can. There. So if we ensure that there's an end of line at the end of each iteration, that should get us closer. And there we go. Why is there a bunch of extra? Let's do trim. Oop. Okay. Definitely not right. Oh, I know why. So, shoot. There's definitely bugs here because if it's an array and so if is array, create neon. So the one bug here is it's printing out. Well, didn't tab this. There's one thing. And it's printing out array keys of 1 and 0 when it should be indent key if key like key equals space else key equals key colon, something like that. So if I hit play, should be a bit closer, not entirely. So paths, we can say, then we can do if not is string value. So if the value is not a string, we'll encode it with JSON. That way we get the appropriate value, and that's what the upstream library does. I'm starting to feel like converting the YAML to neon seems like it'd be the best idea. The problem is that neon uses tabs. Well, it supports tabs or spaces, but YAML only does spaces, so it's not the same. The mapping, and how do you do an empty array in PHP in neon? That is a good question, and I don't know if it's even if there's an example in here. Let's see. Brackets, there we go. So if not array, else if count values equal to 0. So if count is equal to 0, could be merged. Yeah, I suppose so. All right, so if we run this, all right, that should be valid then. Why is it giving all this extra trailing new line? Probably because of this here. So let's see if I can, what happens when I kill that. All right, that cleaned it up a lot. So let's go ahead. I'm going to copy this. Or no. What I'd like to do is extends. So there's no constructor. But we try to put the file content somewhere else or write the output. This IO equals new Drush style. This input, our input. Can't really capture the output. Not this IO, this input, this set input. That is a public function. So maybe I could test this directly. So let's first prove that this is passing. So now if I played, this should pass. All right, so let's refactor this now to be command equals new phpstan-drupal commands. Command set input interface. Let's see, I've done this before. There should be array input. Right. So we do this IO. This is from input output. So we do new array inputs command set outputs. What is this one? Parameters. We'll do an empty array for now. And set output. There should be an array output, I believe. Null buffered output stream. Is it the buffered output? Yeah, if we do the buffered output, new, let's say output equals new buffered output, but new buffered output, pass it there. So if we do, now if we were to do command setup, rather if we run it, so if we run command setup, that's the default config. We don't need that anymore. Command setup. And if we were to do output fetch, that should do it. But right now it's going to complain because there's no Drupal container. So we have to mock the container. Yep, container's not initialized. So let's do container equals new container builder. Drupal set container. Container. And any type manager is not found, but we should be able to go to Drush, and I think we can copy something out of here. Oh, that's getting it from the parent. So let's go to github.com, drush, and see if we can copy it from their tests. No. Set container. Test. Runtime. Well, that's just not there. Well, it's okay. We can do this. Create mock of entity type manager interface class. See, I use prophecy, never this. So we can say entity etm mock equals. We can do container set entity type dot manager etm mock. If we hit play, we should get the right buffered output with no errors. For each, we got mock this, so etm get definitions, PHP unit get mock. Like I said, I always use prophecy, so I don't remember how test doubles work in PHP unit directly. Stubs, we're not stubbing it. I guess we could just stub it. But let's go to the mock. Actually, yeah, let's do create stub, because we're not so dug into this, and a stub just lets you mock responses or set up like return values, but a mock lets you add assertions to it. So etm mock method get definitions will return an empty array. So we're gonna have it return an empty array. So that should allow us to go. Two strings are equal. All right. How did it? Why? Will this return argument will return one second. Expects this any method do something. Will return value. Why did it return? It returned like an what? It returned an object instead. But why? Value, next values. Yeah, we're doing a value. Stub. Merge value, next values. This will stub. But what does get definitions technically return? Yeah, why would it return? Because that's stringifying an object. Why? So let's go. Oh, man. Because I'm not even calling the right code here. So this should be self create neon from config. And let's do a debug. So Drupal entity. So, okay. So config parameters, Drupal entity mappings and empty array. All right. That makes sense because YAML and empty array is curly brackets output. Let's play. Asserting. We got a new line. it's not expected. Actually, it should be, I think. Let's play it. All right, I'm happy with that. All right, so I'm okay with this. I feel like this is a hack and a half, but we can't add the net neon dependency because then that would add the dependency to Drupal core, and Drupal core wants to keep the dependencies light as possible. And we can't namespace them or bundle them because then we would need our own FAR, and we don't have that. So, so if anything, I just want to see. So if count is 0, else we go through there. We can make this a private function. Now, does not need to be static. All right, so let's see. We get here, and it's defaulting to level 2 because that's what folks should be using now as their default. And we'll return empty array. Let's make a mock entity type. etd mock equals this. Create stub. Any type. What does it return? Entity type interface. That's it. So etd mock. Is it method ID will return node and get class will return node and get storage class return node storage class. So if we run it, it should fail. And oh, it did not fail because this, but get definitions was return type. Keys are the plugin ID. So let's rerun this because now we're returning the array. est node class. Oh, hold on. Wrong node class. So then this will be stop. I want to just one, two, three, node. Right, so it should be node. 1, 2, 3. Class is Drupal node entity node, something like that. And storage. Which for this, I can actually copy it from the extension config because we have this dumped in. So if we run it, There's an extra new line. Well, so I see. So we get a duplicate end of line here. What if we do R trim? Let's do a right trim and see if that cleans up any of the extra trailing new lines. No, that is not gonna fix it. So let's see where it's because of this. Which makes me feel like this is a bug laying in wait if we don't have it here. Oh yeah, we can do R trim. We can't do it at each call because that would break it, but we can do it at the end. And that removes the extra new line. All right, there we go. Now what would be good to do is first let's do PHP vendor bin, PHP CS. Oh. Drush command 66. $77. Now let's do phpstan. And what I want to do is I'll push this up, but I want to get phpstan to validate the generated config as part of the test. But let's just get things set up. No, not found. So Drush command set up has parameter options with no type specified. Param. How do we do it in phpstan? There's a way to actually dictate what the shape is. Documentation, write in PHP code, PHP doc types, array. There we go. phpstan type. I don't want to do phpstan type. Array shapes. Here we go. So it's param options. Is a nullable array with, what is it? So file a string. No, cancel, don't. So let's see if that makes phpstan happy. Offset file does not exist on array file string. So wait, foo int bar string. Key 1 is optional in the array. Oh, that's how. Okay. So it's. Hold on. Offset file does not exist on array file string. But why not? Actually, this isn't even nullable. It's just the default. Let's try this. I think that's one reason it was erroring, because the array could be nullable. Offset file does not exist on array file. Let's start that where it is required if it's passed in. There we go. That means it's required. If you pass it in, you need to make sure it exists, or at least it's an empty string. And let's go ahead and errors. Let's just ignore that in the test. So the reason why it can't find it is the node module is part of a module which is not dumped in the autoloader. It's part of the dynamic namespacing based off of installed modules. Okay, we're back up to no errors. So I'm going to go ahead and commit this. Let's ditch the unused. Write neon manually. Add test. So let's do commit and push. What we'll need to do now is I want this to be validated. So let's see how. Rule test case. Let's go to rule test case. phpstan test case. All right, so this does get container, static additional config files. Additional config files, cache key. If not is set. Get parameters bootstrap files. Let's see. Container equals container factory. So I think I can do this. So test create neon. And what we can do is we need to write this temporarily. Or is there another way to, there's gotta be another way to validate. So it does schema validation somehow. So analyzer, command, let's do analyze application, project config array. Project config array. Node error helper. That's an analyze. Analysis result. Where else is the config array passed? Not here. Let's look at the command. Argument, generate baseline. CI detector. Container, that gets the result. Command begin. Configuration is get option configuration. Absolute size path, file, loader, load, assert, include expanded, adapter load, assert, expand, expand. Where does the schema get used? Generate config. Container factory create. Well, I don't know where that gets used. So I think we'll have to do is Drupal I think we're going to need the command to dump the Drupal directory so that way I can mock it in the tests. Because by default, it's set, Drupal root is set to the current working directory. So let's test options file. Man, let's try a different way. I don't really want to. Let's see. Drupal sites. I think I did it here. Contrib dev cat bat composer.json. Here, I'll bump this. This is really small. Let me bump up the terminal. I did not do it here. Dev main as, wait. Maybe I did. LSL vendor. Nope. No, why would I have done it here? I don't know where I was working on this now. Um, shoot. Because I do want to validate it, but maybe what I can't easily access anything inside phpstan because it's namespaced. So there's the schema, parameter schema. Let me see if I can find where this is used, if anywhere. Private function get meta. That's the only place it is used. Net neon parameter schema. Oh, net schema library. Okay, that's where it comes from. Schema. It's not in there either. So let's go find out where it's used. Parameters. Ah, there it is. Okay, so maybe I can load it this way. Parameter schema extension inside phpstan. So I should be able to dependency injection, parameter schema extension, get config schema, load configuration. This get container builder, compiler. Let's try this out. Where does get config schema array of type statement? No. Load configuration and then process. So that is not going to be possible. Well, all right. Before I get to validating the schema, we need to replace one to do in here, and that is to make sure we have the correct directory. So we're going to have to go and let's see. We could either have it be path to Drupal as an optional call, which we'll have to do because if we look at our tests and our fixtures and our config, we pass in PHP unit, we have to pass the Drupal root. So we're just going to have to do that anyways. That's not how you write an array. So we have Drupal root, which is a string. And the default should be current working directory. Or rather, actually, let's let it be empty and let the default take place. So we'll do parameters and say if I guess we'll have the absolute path anyway. So let's do option is Drupal root. So we'll do, let me load the Finder Drupal autoloader. So we do this here as well. Okay, root is options, Drupal root. Okay, root start path, path is start path. Just see what happens. What do we got here? So we'll do if, what does this return? It says it's going to return a string, but it's not, it could be null or false. Locate root. Okay, so what we can do is actually, if so if we can't find the Drupal root based off what we've been provided, this IO error cannot find. Let's copy that. So let's see. And then we got to do, what should this return? Void. I guess it shouldn't be. So drush.org. What's the right way to return an exit code? Author. Do fetch. Return value. Exit. Let's do exit. Nope. Hooks, dependency injection, examples. Let's do the examples of our commands. Print, return new. Policy, throw exception. I guess we'll just throw a new exception. Do throw new runtime exception, because this can always be iterated on and improved. So let's run the test. It should fail because it's not mocked. Oh, shoot. This should be find or locate root. And we can say Drupal root equals finder get root. Actually, we should have Drupal root equals that's only for nullable. So we should do is if options Drupal root is equal to get stack, no, parent config. Command data, no, we don't want the hooks. Site alias commands alter. This site alias manager. Site alias, no, there's gonna be nothing in here we can really get. Root equals get current working directory. So let's run that. Okay. Installer path to Drupal is valid root, Drupal root, vendor directory, composer root. I don't want the absolute path though. What we just want it to be web. Get Drupal root. How does this decide if it's web installer paths? This composer root equals path. This Drupal root rtrim path install path. We don't want it to be absolute. We want it to be relative. Composer root, this Drupal root, this vendor. I guess, oh, that's what we can do. So what we can do is remove the finder, get composer root. Let's call it, let's do Drupal doc root or Drupal. What do you even call that? We'll just say Drupal root is string replace. Search for the get composer root and replace it with an empty string in the Drupal root so that we only get the directory. And if we run it, there should be an error. Oh, I guess. Oh, but we don't want. This is feeling really hacky now. We don't necessarily want that. We want directory separator. I mean, I'm glad that just worked. Okay, so the current working directory, it found that. And place quotes, Drupal root. These sites on Acquia Cloud require a folder called docroot, and everybody else uses web. I think Pantheon also used docroot. or they allow you to customize it, but now we can verify that this works. Okay, so this makes me happy. Now what we should do is I guess it's going to be really hard to pass in mocks for this. So we'll just here test fixtures Drupal. That is where I have test fixtures. If it would open, no, not that. Drupal, that is where I have Drupal present. So if we run this, and it should be Drupal root test fixtures Drupal. If I hit play, all right, so that passed. So I feel a little bit more comfortable with this setup. I guess getting the current working directory that way is all we can do. Let's go. Let's see. At param option. All right, I guess we can. Can we get PHP vendor bin, Drush, phpstan-drupal. Setup -- help. I just want to read the help arguments. Okay. Let's fix this then. Creates a configuration. Creates configuration for phpstan based on your Drupal site. So you have the @ command, aliases, and then param. So we don't have params, we just have options. So field labels. Oh, okay. So you don't need @ option, I guess. So field labels. No, default fields filter. So let's see what happens with this. Format. I don't see anything here that describes format. Options, Drupal root. The path to Drupal. The output file. But arguments. Why? I don't want this to. All right, let's try that. Okay. So that's an alternative. You can use phpstan param to specify phpstan specific items if it's breaking other parsing. So Drupal root equals file. Control L to clear it. Let's just see. I feel like I should just say phpstan setup. I don't think there's any reason to namespace it as phpstan-drupal. All right, now the one thing I want to, okay, here. What would be interesting to do is in GitHub workflows, PHP, lint, test, build integration. So I have a build integration which runs phpstan and it copies this config. So config Drupal phpstan. It'd be nice to just to have this get generated. It's going to generate at level 2, and the tests work best at level 0 to prevent errors from cropping up. Name. Oh, maybe this will be okay. The idea is that we could install Drupal and then generate this automatically. Just again, making sure the tests don't fail for no reason or without needing anything. I don't know. Composer require the version to self. It's using my setup script, so it should have Drush, I think. Actually, I gotta see if that does add Drush or not. It may not. Oh. Oh. Wait, I thought that was... Sorry, sidetracked with all dependencies. So I want to just follow up on this. There's no way to link to this, I bet. Options. Per la. The option is... what version of Composer is giving this issue? All right, that aside, because I didn't know anybody was actually using this, let's go look and index. No, it's not installing Drush. So I could update this to install Drush, but let's just get it pushed up fairly quick. So it's specifying the Drupal root, level 2, any entity type definitions. Use Drupal Finder for Drupal root and proper paths. I'll say that. The nice part about having the paths defined is then you don't need to pass a path. Let's see. All right, close that. Failing. All right. push. It did push. Resolve that and that. So what we'll need to do is to have this actually be tested with against a rule test. Let's do rules. No, let's do Drupal auto loading test. Yeah, we can. So this auto loading test just make sure that things don't crash. Drupal rule test case, get additional. We'll have to rule test case, PHP test case. So what I'm gonna have to do is get a temp directory and dump this file. So test create neon. And so public function test write neon void, which is going to turn out to be a copy and paste of this. So etd, this etm mock can be moved to down here to group things up a bit. Set the Drupal container. Let's do private function set Drupal container, create Drupal container. Let's just move this into here. Say this create Drupal container. And now let's move it down. So this makes it a little bit cleaner. New private function create command will return phpstan Drush Drupal commands. Command set output. We can't get the output though, so maybe not. Return this output, set input, set output, IO. Say, how can I get a hold of the input? I can't. Trait, task, Drush commands, pre-hook. Process manager, where trait, exec trait. IO, use IO as robo IO. That's protected. So, what we could do is shoot. Not delegate it to a method because it's not saving that much effort. So test write neon. What we need to do is file is, so we should be able to say did not want to close all that out. Let's do say phpstan-drupal test, and file should be, what does temp directory do? Container create, and that temp directory will do file is tempter, say config file equals temp directory slash time slash phpstan Drupal.neon. So we'll say it's here and unlink config file. So we'll delay it at the end. Let's see what happens when I run it. Unlink, no such file or directory. So do setup. So we can do self file exists. That's okay. Self assert file exists. Config file. All right, so file assert in the file, but now let's do array input parameters. Command, oh, that's why. So command, we have to, it is -- file. Let's go ahead, drop a breakpoint and debug the command and see and make sure that the options come through. So options. Oh, that's right. We're invoking it directly and not using the inputs because Drush does things this way. So options, let's do file. Let's debug it again. So I do definitely want to have the workflows generate the config. Shoot, that's broken. I definitely need to get this command be part of the workflow. Maybe not all of them. Maybe I'll make a separate workflow just to test this. And verify that it works. So options, file, logic exception, because it wasn't passed in, and Drush would make sure it was. So Drupal root, empty array, empty string, let it resolve itself. Options, file, step over. All right, so that passed. Good. Let's go ahead and run the same assert. But instead of output fetch, we're going to do file get contents config file, verify the output, and .drush commands, not test case, input Drupal auto loading test, Drupal test case. No, we want to go to get container. Static get additional files. Additional config files. Cache key containers. No, we'll do root directory, container factory, root directory. Man. How can I hack this around? Let's try it. So let's do phpstan test case. Let's do and set up. private static dir. We don't need to do the import, and we'll do self. Okay, so we have the temp directory there. Neon time. Never mind. That's the time. But each test would just basically overwrite this. So we'll do, okay, so here we go. That, get additional config files. This is hacky on hacky. Let's, oh, wait a second. Actually, we don't want to include this at all. Shoot. We kind of need this included because we don't have the extension installer. Because that passes the Drupal route. Yes, let's try Drupal no dev. Drupal phpstan. Circle CI PHP unit. I don't even know if that's still there. Include. So let's do config. Let's say Drupal includes that neon. So one thing, we can do this. I believe this will work. So let's test something. Test inference tape. Nope, that's not types. Rules. Drupal rule test case. Needs to use the trait, whatever. Let's run this. Let's rerun it. That's always a quick bug. All right, great. That passed. Let's, if we were to comment that out, it should fail. Unexpected parameters Drupal. Great. All right. So what we can do then is, all right, we can let's copy this and change this to be phpstan Drupal includes. Why is it not? One more. Okay, fixtures. phpstan Drupal includes. So now we have the includes along with our config file. So we'll include that first, then our own, And I really hope this works because this is getting to be really hacky right now. We write the neon file, we verify it. Now, phpstan test case, this git container. What do we have that extends this? That's not it. Rules test, Drupal autoloading test, dummy rule. This analyze. We don't want to get the analyzer. This git analyzer, this container gets blah. PHP this git container, this config. Yes, let's just try it. Git container. Where do we do this in here? Oop. Not. Let's do git container. Service map load includes git parser, create broker, get reflectors, create scope factory, get file helper. Let's look at the Drupal rule test case, this git analyzer. Oh, that's so much stuff. Get additional config files. Let's just see what happens when I do this. Because just getting the container should validate the parameter schema. And why do we have an extra? Wait, what? Oh, when it wrote, it didn't have the new line. Sure. Now let's have it invalidate the schema somehow. I want to force this to fail. So in the extension, schema somewhere, we say that Drupal root must be a string, class must be a string, or storage a string. So let's have it break Drupal root by being 1, 2, 3. Whoa, cancel. So it should fail because it did not. Shoot, when does the validation happen? Drupal structure. Well, actually, good question is. So let's keep that the same. This test, let's not include the base and run it. Because if that doesn't cause that's how we can test this. If that doesn't cause an error, unexpected item parameters Drupal. All right, never mind. It was there, but why? I guess that means the schema should run. So if we comment that out and run it, Building the container fails at test result 71. PHP stand test case, line 71. Container, which doesn't even say where it failed in my test. Configurator. And if we comment out the container, it passes. All right, so let's add some setup. We'll do tear down. Unlink. We can make sure that's always removed. Build the container, which validates all parameters. This expect notice no. Yeah, I guess the fact that it happens and there's an error proves it's working or not. So again, I'm just going to run the entire class. Neon unexpected item. If we include this, it's now expected. That's right, neon. But I want it to fail on the type. So let's just... I just want to see if it'll fail. If not, it's not the end of the world. Oh, wait. Of course it won't fail because I'm asserting the differences. So let's comment it out. Test right neon. The parameter expects to be string, true given. All right. So let's go and build this first. And why is this angry? Okay. Yeah, so build the container to validate all parameters. We don't need this assert because if it failed to write, it will fail. So if we run this, right, neon, oh. Run it. Right, neon file is missing and not readable. All right, so if there was an error, well, actually, I kind of like that. This here. Right, config after validation. All right, like this. So we verify the validation after the fact. We assert the file exists, so it's a cleaner error. What is the error that runs? So we can do a better exception. Oh, it's wrapped. Let's try this. Catch throwable E. Why is this going to be? Catching exceptions without capturing the variables is only possible since what? Oh, just delayed. Catch throwable. Let's do if string contains, but string contains is only available in PHP 8. So let's do string position. Haystack is E, get class. Or we'll do get class E of is not equal to false. If my memory serves right, yeah, returns false if the needle is not found. Self fail schema validation error E get message else throw E. So if it's the validation error, we'll throw it, or we'll provide a better message. Otherwise, we'll just we'll say phpstan configuration config validation error unexpected item. And now if we put that back in, we're good. All right. So what did I do here? So Drush commands the test. Make phpstan test verify written outputs written config. So say make it verify the written config. Let's push it. Where is it failing? PHP 6.5. Why? Uh-oh. Pre-render callback rule. Oh no. Drush style is not found. All right, so we've got bugs. Test create stub. Wait. PHP unit create stub. When was this added? That. All right, we've got failures due to dependencies require dev, Drush 9.6, 10, 11. And we have head failures, which cron should be running. All right, let's go to actions. Oh, look at that. Shoot. Well, I guess I should get this fixed first. So let's go. This is almost set, but I need to fix head. Why is head broken? I need to turn off the debug for PHP unit because this is too much. So none, lazy builder error, pre-render callback rule, test, data set 7. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Drupal core renderer. Oh, that's not supposed to work. That's a regression, or that's not supposed to cause a problem. Pre-render callback rule test. That's not it. But this gives me a shortcut to the rule. Array intersect key. Oh crap! That's a break in phpstan because now we don't have get attribute parent. Crud. So that needs an immediate fix. Get checkout main. Get pull. Blog. Where'd it go? 1.6. Parent. Because of getting rid of parent previous next node attributes is a backward compatibility break. I only do it when the bleeding edge configuration is enabled. How to make these rules work again, even without. All right. So this will be null and 1.6 plus bleeding edge, which is only in tests. Tests always use bleeding edge. So if you want to just bring back even following configuration, add your phpstan.neon. Nope. Let's see how to do it right in an example. Are interested in whether it. So this version did the code check with parent. The new custom try catch types node attribute, get attribute try catch types. That's not what I want though. We also need to write a custom node visitor to set the attribute. Needs to be registered. Oh boy. That's shoot. That's not good. Parent, array, parent. Oh. Key checked. This only works against parents in Drupal core. Oh no. Is this failing locally? I don't know if I updated phpstan. I'll rerun it because of that quirk. All right. Shoot. Add new rule. So let's do. Remove usage of and to be compatible with phpstan 1.60 plus. phpstan added a bunch of memory improvements. One of them is done by no longer providing attributes to the parents, siblings, etc. Read more at this breaks a check done in what is this called? Render callback rule. If key checked, we could actually find the scope. I think we could simplify this. This performs checks to see if the caller is in array intersect key as done in. This is used to strip out lazy builder information. One fix is to allow Boolean values under the assumption it is for array intersect key, or to follow this blog and add a custom traverser, but that would be a big pain. Enter node if instance of match statement, try catch results, set attribute. So submit the new issue. And we can work around it. Okay, so that's not working because composer update. I'm going to run composer update. That should cause it to fail. Conditional return types. Parent previous next. Bleeding edge. Wait, written an article how to make them work again. Oh yeah, so here it is. If we want to disable it, conditional tags. So what I can do is I should be able to add this into fixtures config. So I should be able to add it right here. And that will get everything to work on the test and say to do remove after blah. So I can remove it after that issue. Let's run the test again. Oh, I'm almost at time. So hopefully I can just push this. Oh, unexpected item parameters conditional tags. That's okay. So it doesn't go there. It's got to go above then. So let's try that. Okay, that seems to do it. It's running. Did see a new issue come through. Let's see all these failures. That's the failures. Let's edit this workflow too. I need to get rid of that -- debug. Let's turn that off. Will make my life a lot easier. And remove add new rule. Using an object as a condition that implements access result interface is usually human error, and it's the worst. It can lead to security issues. A new rule. This, I don't think we can handle this if folks are not using phpstan level 6. We have no idea if it is a Boolean or object value. We have some support for the dynamic return type. C. Source rules Drupal. Classes. Oh, goodness. Reflection. No, I don't know where anything is. Pest? No. Plugin manager. Entity query. Coder. Oh, type. Accessible return type. Copy reference. See accessible return type. Below, I don't know if phpstan is respecting the return type below level 6. Access equal create entity access. Group content, get content plugin. Also, the PHP doc from group module seems like that is what it's for. May need a better return. I don't know how we can handle this. phpstan should be warning about doing an if on the access result object anyways. Warning that it's always true. It's always true. I don't think there's anything I can do, and this is why I'm on the crusade for everybody to start doing analysis at level 2 or above. So let's fix that. Now let's change this to false. Run the test again, and the last test should fail. I hope, because that means it will prove that it works. And then I can fix head, which makes me feel more comfortable releasing this Drush command. At least then I'll be able to just focus on errors that are related to okay, that does not have debug. Why did this fail? All right, great. So that proves that the setting is working. Oh, why is that one taking so long? True. Get new branch. Fix PHP fix removal. Temp fix parent removed. Get diff. Get status, get commit AV, set enable rich parser node visitor for tests, fixes head for PHP stan 1.6.0 plus until on tests which use bleeding edge until is finished. Origin temp fix, do a PR create, good. Because we can't close the issue on this, but we can at least link it so that way we're aware. Hopefully this gets green tests. And why did Circle CI fail? For the Drush item. Upgraded next. Oh, I should just kill Circle CI probably. So this is the same thing. Lazy builder class. Drush style is not. All right. Wait a second. How? What? How does that even make sense? Drush, what? Searching for that's going to get nothing. All right. I'm chalking that up for a fluke. Linting PHP 8.0. Why did the lint? String to lower must. All right. Everything just got weird. Rerun this job. Sure. We'll rerun that. Okay. That's now passing. No, I don't need to tag a release. I don't need to tag a release because this shouldn't affect anybody unless they're using phpstan with bleeding edge. And that's in their end config, and they will know how to fix this. And I'll have to get to some backlog triage soon. All right, tests are running. Don't want the build integration. So that looks like it's going to pass. So let me get this back. So, all right. So those are running now. The build integrations, which with the Drush command, build integration needs, strategy, build integration. Let's copy this, but I'm going to make it something different. Drush command. Build integration Drush command. All right, so that shouldn't be bothered there. Continue on error experimental. So PHP version 7.4, 8.9. I'm going to drop 8.9 from this and just do 8.0, which means I can kill this. Let's just call this Drush command. Drush command. Check out alias for self. Set up Drupal. Drush. Composer required. That's just in here. So where do we go? Let's see, for this new one, we don't need, I just want to have one command. We just need one. Set up path Drupal. Name, add Drush to Drupal. Run. CD Drupal. Composer. We shouldn't need that composer. Require Drush. So that sets the branch alias. Let's no longer copy this. Name. Install Drupal. Run CD Drupal, and we do PHP vendor bin Drush site install Drush site install SQLite. Just there we go. We'll just do this one. Site install, sites default files. Name, generate phpstan config. Run cd /Drupal. And I ran it here quick. So we could do setup. Oh, I wish I remembered. So phpstan. There we go. All right. I know I ran it somewhere. So the current working directory will, when it's run, will be relative to Drupal itself. So that's why it has dash or colon or blah, period slash. So this should add that in. Now, right, this passed. Those are all expected. Let's merge this. Delete. Get status. Get diff. Get commit. AV. Add workflow to test. Drush command E to end to end. First, get checkout main. Get pull. Get checkout. Get merge main. Get merge bort. Auto merging. Let's do main rebase. Do it in the UI. Merge So apply, continue rebasing. Okay, then git push F. All right, so rebase off of that fix. Let's review the files changed. And then I need to run. All right, so that's there. Add Drush 11 support. Well, I thought that was already in, but whatever. That's required dev. Yeah, required dev, right? Yeah. No. Yes. Drush commands. There's our command. It includes. The move there. Choose the includes and then the test. And then the Drush command. All right. Display the rich diff. Oh. It's interesting. What does this do? Oh, that's neat. So when you diff the composer.json, that's really cool. Oh, I don't have enough energy to give feedback that way. And tests are now failing. The build is failing. Create stub. Why? All right, I'll have to figure that out. I don't know why this is failing. I know my local's messed up because it isn't re-indexing the far. Let's see, exclude far, include far. Is that going to cause it to index? No. All right, I gotta look at this later, but at least some things are at head. PHP unit, Drush style not found. Why? GitHub, Drush ops. So real quick, source, style. Oh, wait. What? New Drush style. Oh, what is going on here? New Drush style. Source v6. Oh, is it because it's somehow being mapped? What is going on? Why? So I obviously have something behind. Drupal 10, Symfony 6 support. Composer.json. So everything got moved, but why? File renamed. Oh, come on. How does this source compatibility? Pre-flight. Okay, so compatibility directory, this is supposed to map it, and it's not. So composer install. Symfony v4. Four. All right, that's okay. So fails due to Symfony v4 and v6 compat C. Need to call pre-flight, no, Drush, pre-flight. Oh, this needs to be constructed. Environment. Can environment be empty? Kind of. All right. Need to invoke Drush 11 only. All right. At least I know why it's failing. And we're back to green on head, and I don't need a release. What are the releases? 21 days ago, what's been committed? 2 commits, and the 2 commits are just that. All right, cool. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully by the end of the month, I can merge the Drush command and work on a few more bugs. But next week, I will be working on Drupal Rector. And thanks for hanging out. Bye.